Oh, technology makes our lives easier, doesn't it? Let's see if that works. It worked! Oh, hi there. Welcome to the show. It's going to be a quick and newsy one today. To wrap up the week, we're going to actually respect your time and not go like an hour and a half like sometimes we tend to do on this program, which I always blame Zach. Like, I'll go off the rails and I'll do the traditional host thing of blame the producer. Which is always the way that things seem to go around here. Anyhow, first of all, hey, thanks for putting up with my horrible voice this week. It's better a little bit. I don't know. We'll see. Jury's still out, but I feel better. The voice seems to be better. Not that I'm making all this about me staring into my own navel or my own mirror, but feeling better. So thanks for putting up with it all week long. Everybody in the chat, everybody listening, and everybody watching on YouTube. Coming up in a couple of moments, I'm going to... We're gonna talk to Dave Pagnotta in a second here, and we'll talk about newsy stuff. But also, I want to go over a way that I think my microphone's dusty. A way that I think we can get an NHL game on Thanksgiving. We just have to go about it in a roundabout way. That's coming up here in a couple of moments. I want to get right to the show, though. So let's do this, shall we? The Blueprint is powered by FanDuel. This is what's coming up on the program. The Blueprint is powered by FanDuel. Download the app today and play your game on FanDuel. No shortage of games today, by the way. 15 of them, and some are already started. We got games all afternoon, into the evening, and you're not going to be staying up late either. Dave Pagnotta, Daily Faceoff Insider, is going to stop by from the fourth period. We'll talk about, amongst things, including, but not exclusive to, the Montreal Canadiens extending Mike Matheson, what's happening in Vancouver, what's up in CBJ. Also, never a bad idea to get an update on Alex Tuch as we look forward to next year's free agent class, which isn't exactly the headline we thought it would be. But I had an interesting conversation with someone about Alex Tuch this morning, and Dave's kind of been all over the Alex Tuch file all season long, so probably a good idea to get an update from him, and a couple of other things to go over on the show today. And I know there's been sort of like an undercurrent of like, is there something happening between the Oilers and the Pittsburgh Penguins? This coming off that Kevin Weeks tweet from earlier on this week. It wouldn't surprise me at all. It's going to be really tough now for the Oilers. And first of all, we all feel for Stu Skinner. Everybody likes Stu Skinner, the person. He's like kind of like Jack Campbell before him, like one of the nicest guys you'll ever meet, and is adored by teammates and fans and everyone that meets his acquaintance. Problem is, right now he's hard to hit, and it's a delicate situation in Edmonton, and it's one that is probably the front burner issue for Stan Bowman and the entire Edmonton Oilers organization. It wouldn't surprise me if at, who knows, sometime, maybe soon, we see the two sides consummate something. If indeed they get that far, I think we wonder about Stu Skinner and Tristan Jarry. I did have a conversation with someone, a goalie coach from an NHL team, who said he wondered about Tristan Jarry's feet and were they quick enough. Look, I'm no goalie expert. I sort of rely on the Kevin Woodleys of the world to fill me in on what's really happening with goaltenders. But listen, this is a person who is in the know, and that would be the one concern that person has about Tristan Jarry. Here's another interesting conversation that I had today. It's from someone in the Metropolitan Division who was listening to us the other day talking about proposed trades for Quinn Hughes if you're the New Jersey Devils. And I had mentioned something along the lines of Simon Nemec and Dawson Mercer. Maybe there's a pick, maybe there's not a pick, if this is indeed the route they go on. And right now, Quinn Hughes is doing his best to be a very thorough professional and talking about how great his relationship is with Jim Rutherford and how he's committed to winning right now with the Vancouver Canucks, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. But as we're all sort of trying to figure out where Quinn Hughes may end up, we were having the conversation about what would a trade look like. And I mentioned those two names and perhaps a pick, although, Tom Fitzgerald, the GM of the Devils, might be able to wait the entire thing out and just say, well, I can get him now or I can get him later. To which this person said, if if Quinn Hughes is joining the Metropolitan Division, it has to be more than that. But we'll see where that ends up. I still think that if anything gets done with Quinn Hughes as far as a trade, and we'll talk about Vancouver with Dave here in a couple of seconds when he joins us. If anything does happen with Quinn Hughes, I still don't count out the Detroit Red Wings. And there's a couple of reasons for that, not just that, the family lives there, but there's a couple of other reasons as well from the Detroit Red Wings point of view. So all these things up for grabs as the show kicks off here. And before we get going here with Dave, I want to remind you, this segment is a presentation of Prime Monday Night Hockey. Prime Monday Night Hockey streams all national regular season Monday night NHL games on Prime Video in Canada and is available free to Prime members in Canada. Stream Prime Monday Night Hockey exclusively on Prime Video and experience thrilling goals and dramatic plays from the NHL. Monday nights are hockey nights. Don't miss a moment of the action. Monday, December 1st, the Winnipeg Jets head to the KeyBank Center to take on the Buffalo Sabres. Puck drops at 7:30 Eastern. Check out the link in our description for the Prime Monday Night Hockey schedule on Prime Video, or go to primevideo.com/NHL. Also on Prime Video, Faceoff inside the NHL Season 2. Subscribe with a 30-day free trial to Prime Video to watch Monday Night Hockey and the new season of Faceoff. Download the app or go to primevideo.com. And with that, we'll bring in DFO Insider from the fourth period, our good friend Dave Pagnotta, who'd fill us in on a number of different things with a number of different teams. And Dave, first of all, good afternoon. Thanks as always for hopping on. Just mentioning Hughes a second ago and talking to someone else from a team in the Metropolitan Division. I was going on the other day about what would a package look like from the New Jersey Devils, and Simon Nemec's name is probably at the top of everybody's list as one. That's not going to get it done. You'd have to add something else. I would wonder about Dawson Mercer. I would also wonder about a pick. And this person said if they're joining the Metropolitan Division, it has to be more than that. Now, I wonder about the Red Wings with Quinn Hughes. And one of the reasons is, one, the family is there, certainly in the offseason. That's where the family makes their home. But I also wonder from the Red Wings' point of view, with the free agent class being what it is in the offseason, where we thought there would be superstar names, it's not happening. Mm-hmm. Is it not incumbent, the Wings organization, and things are moving slowly there, given that you're not going to go out and sign a superstar, is it not incumbent on the Detroit Red Wings perhaps to look at their roster and say, you know what, it's time we started, getting out of the green banana business here? And we love all these young players, but we need a superstar, and we may have to divorce ourselves from some of these young players. Does that make sense to you?
Like a Lucas Raymond, perhaps?
I was wondering about Simon Edvinsson, to be honest with you. That was a name that jumped to me right away.
Yeah, I mean, look, the Wings have a solid amount of young talent, as we know. And if I'm Vancouver and I'm moving out Quinn Hughes, and again, to reiterate, he holds all the cards. This is, if he's going anywhere, it's because he's saying so. Detroit has a lot of different assets. I think Vancouver, the way that their mindset is with this retool to an extent, whatever they're doing right now.
Yeah,
I think they're going to want an immediate star value if they're moving out Quinn Hughes. So I look to a guy like Lucas Raymond as the centerpiece. Now, this is just me. This is trying to read things and thinking that's where they're going. Now, they could go in a package direction. Certainly, you mentioned Nemec with New Jersey. I also don't know how much of an appetite Fitzgerald really has to part with Nemec, even though it may mean you're going to have to add to that. Yep. I'm that's curious. Detroit makes a lot of sense. Mm-hmm. I like that. I don't know where the Canucks may look and go, we should just swap, star for star here. You're getting the bigger one, but
right,
we'll take him as opposed to a package of really good young talent. But I think that star power presence, I think they would need that to be in some capacity in a deal.
Well, first of all, but before we, and I should have done this right off the top. It's very thoughtful of you to break news before you come on the program here. And Dave mentioning about 5 minutes ago, Craig Conroy has a 2-year extension with the Calgary Flames. Also, Don Maloney, the team president, along with AGM's Dave Nonis and Brad Pascall, extended to 2-year deals as well. And the other note that you add in there, all these deals were agreed upon before the season began. You have a quick thought for us here on what Calgary's up to?
Yeah, I mean, the interesting thing was they was the last part, that they agreed to these extensions in the summer and then firmed them up afterwards. They're still 2-year deals, so starting next season, the next two. They clearly like their management group. They like the structure that they have there in place, and they feel that these are going to be the guys, at least leading into the new building, that are going to be able to put them in a good spot when they introduce that new building, or unveil, I should say, that new building. Yep. So to me, that signifies that whatever direction this team is going to go in the next weeks here, at least roster-wise, that there's full confidence that this is the right group to do it. And that confidence comes from up top with Murray Edwards as the owner and the group there, and then down to Maloney, who locks into it as well, and so on and so on. So I still think from a roster perspective, they're a couple weeks away, Jeff, from accepting their fate, might be the best way to put it.
Yep.
And then go from there. But they locked those guys in and made it official today.
What did you make of all the noise around Maloney this week? And there's not going to be a rebuild, and we need more Nazem Kadris. Don't need to take them off the table. Like, one, I looked at that and I say, okay, so this is coming from Don Maloney. He's the president. Anything that generally comes from the president is not that he's parroting back something specifically from Murray Edwards, but nothing a team president is saying.
Part of it.
Nothing he's saying is not said without the blessing of Murray Edwards. Don Maloney's not out there freestyling to something like that significant for the, like, whenever I hear this one guy's blocking a rebuild. No, that is an organizational decision. That's not Don Maloney saying no rebuild under my. That is organizational. That's not just Maloney saying not under my watch, hippie. No rebuild here. That doesn't work that way.
Yeah, no, exactly. And I think part of the messaging was also to build a little bit of confidence. They ended up, they won 3 in a row. It was in the middle of that stretch. So to try to build some confidence and pump your guys' tires to say, look, we believe in you. We're gonna roll with you on this one throughout the season and go from. Then they lose and everything kind of comes back into play. I think it's a combo of that, and then also just helping your GM a little bit, driving up the price. Yeah, we don't really want to make these moves. We would rather keep Kadri, add those caliber players.
Oh yeah,
we're not sure what direction we want to go in. Maybe if you gave us a good enough reason to do it, then sure. You twist, we'll do it. I think that's part of it, because again, they're not there yet. The people I talk to around the club, all 10 and some other teams around the league are saying it doesn't sound like they're ready to start chipping away at this. Now they may still very well say we're going to keep Nas, but okay, Anderson's out. Coleman, we're going to get a good enough offer. That's going to happen. Maybe there's another piece that they end up moving, or maybe somebody does give them an offer too good for them to pass up for Kadri. And a couple teams I look at there, we talked about Montreal before. The other team that I started hearing about recently, and we heard a little bit in the summer, but it wasn't really much, Florida. And I don't know if that's something that would happen in season. This might be, and even with the Habs or with another club, this might be something later on. But the two teams that I was told to just keep tabs on around Nazem Kadri were the Habs, which we know, the Florida Panthers. That was an interesting one for me.
There's another team that's been around Kadri for a while now. And last year it couldn't happen, so they went out and got Marcus Granlund, and that's the Dallas Stars.
Yep.
The Dallas Stars have always looked for someone a little bit snarlier. That's why they tried to get Matthew Olivier away from Columbus for as long as they did. Not that I'm comparing Olivier to Nazem Kadri, two different skill sets and two different players, but I think you know what I'm going for.
Yeah.
They've looked for players with some bite, and I think they've been around Kadri and Anderson, for that matter, for a couple of seasons now.
You can add Coleman to the mix as well. I had heard earlier this season that they checked in on Blake Coleman, another guy with a little bit of snarl, is not afraid to get dirty. And he just has 1 year left on his contract. And yeah, Anderson, of course, it still sounds like Dallas and Vegas are the two teams where he's still interested in signing an extension with, as opposed to some of the other clubs. But, we'll see what the offers are that come in for him. If it's a team not on his no trade list, if it's the best offer, then Calgary, we're going to send you to Colorado, or we're going to send you to here, wherever, Tampa, and you can figure it out after the fact.
Nazem Kadri with the Dallas Stars against the Colorado Avalanche, though, is pretty juicy.
Oh man,
that's pretty juicy.
Add him to the mix with Rantanen. That picks up again the storyline from last playoffs. That'd be fantastic. Yeah, I'm with you on that.
Hey, can I freestyle something with you here? I had a conversation with someone last night about no games on Thanksgiving, or as we call it here in Canada, U.S. Thanksgiving. So here's my
yeah.
Let me know what you think about this.
I think I know where you're going with this. I already like it.
Oh, really? Okay. So here's my thought on it. I like the idea of at least having one game. Like, feed your hardcores. You don't have to program all of your schedule to your hardcores, but every now and then, throw your hardcores a bone, right? Like a lot of hardcore hockey fans that are like me, like, okay, I'm not really going to watch a full slate of football. I'm not going to watch any at all, really. Give me one game. Now, I know that the Players Association, the NHL, has always pushed back. They want to compete against the NFL. I understand all that. How about this? To get one game on, and it's probably early in the morning, too. Why not do the Global Series over Thanksgiving?
Ooh. Couple Canadian teams?
Why not?
Maybe.
Why not? Do the global series when they're going to guarantee a Thanksgiving game back in North America, and maybe it becomes a benchmark. Maybe it becomes like a tent pole. Thanksgiving morning, 9:00, whatever. If you want to claim that time slot, it's 9:00 Eastern or whatever. You can make it a better time slot for the West. I'm just freestyling this year, Dave. But as an idea, as a way to get it on, why not marry the two things together? The global series, teams in Europe, and we get a little flavor puck here in North America. We get a game.
That'd be all right. Like that's only 3:00 in most of Europe. Like if this is back in Stockholm or Helsinki or Prague, 6 hours ahead of the East. So you're looking at 3 p.m.
Yeah.
Local time, which is fine for them. You get a 9:00 game. I like this. You get a 9:00 game here. It goes into NFL. Yeah. I think the first game's at noon 4:30, whatever, and then the late game at 8:25. That's a nice little lead-in. That's interesting. I wouldn't be now, because they keep talking about ways to expand, especially lately, their global presence and their games overseas in different spots. That would be because you can have it Thursday, because this year they did Friday, Sunday. So you can have it a Thursday, then you have your Saturday game, and then everybody goes home.
And everybody goes home. I don't know. I'm sure the players would push back because obviously they want to be with their family. American players want to be with their families on Thursday. I understand that, but just like the cynical guy in me, I would always push back and say, "Well, that's what the money's for." Like that's what the money's for.
Yes, fair.
Every now and then you're gonna have to take a pass on Thanksgiving because that's what the money is for. Anyhow, I just sort of lob it out.
You get the holiday break.
Yeah,
they get the 23rd, 4th, 5th off or whatever that is in December. And then you're playing on New Year's. You got some teams playing on New Year's. Teams are still traveling. Like, what's wrong with that one? So if you're playing then, I guess you could play on Thanksgiving. Early game overseas, make it a big spirited event. I don't mind this.
Why not? Just lob it out there as a conversation starter on a Friday afternoon. Me and my buddy Dave just throwing it around, trying to solve problems in the NHL and get us to watch a hockey game on Thanksgiving. Let me swing back to the team that Quinn Hughes plays on. As we already had a whack at that, Pagnotta, and that's the Vancouver Canucks. And there was a lot of noise around them this week, obviously. And bless Jim Rutherford, who's the gift that keeps on giving. I just love. We all do. We all appreciate this. Unfortunately, a dying breed. I don't know that we see another manager like Jim Rutherford in the NHL, in the very message-contained NHL and all sports universe. But nonetheless, I digress. To me, it feels like this. Mm-hmm. Jim Rutherford, Patrick Allvin are trying to decide whether they can get more for Conor Garland, whose new contract still hasn't kicked in, much like his no move hasn't kicked in, or Kiefer Sherwood without a contract extension. And that's one of the internal discussions, or that's one of the, maybe as they sort of canvas out to 31 other teams, trying to figure, okay, who's worth more? Conor Garland with the extension at 6 or Kiefer Sherwood without?
And that's the interesting one, because especially the top tier contenders, like the ones that are legitimately going to be chasing a Stanley Cup here, if you get a guy who can provide secondary scoring, can hit like a you-know-what, and has a $1.5 million cap hit for this season, if you're just chasing it this season, or you got a window of a few years, but you got an opportunity here to pick up a guy like that, I almost think that might be more valuable. Like, I know that people were tossing around second-round picks and whatnot. I've been hearing it's a first-round pick plus for Kiefer Sherwood.
Wow, because really,
all of those elements. Now, if like it's Colorado, for example, you're probably looking at a 28th, 9th, 30th,
sure,
31st, like that, one of those, Dallas, whomever. But it's effectively a high first and another asset for Kiefer Sherwood because of the cap hit alone, based on his capabilities, is ridiculously attractive. Then you factor in the secondary scoring capabilities. Then you factor in he's a freight train and is not afraid to turn it on when he needs to. All of those elements make him very costly, but also justifiably costly. So I think that's what I've been hearing is kind of like that's the ballpark. Now, if you break it down and you do an equivalent to a first and it's this and that, like, but that's on the surface. The easy explanation is that Garland, that one needs, I think, from Vancouver's perspective, convincing. They're open to it because they've let everyone know that.
Yeah.
But this is more of a direct talent swap here, where you're rejigging the roster a little bit. You've kept, your other guys because like Brock's not going anywhere. You're not moving to Brusque. Myers, Pettersson, both of them have no movement clauses. They're not going anywhere. They're not waiving right now. Elias, different story probably, but I just don't see anything there right now. But Garland allows you, if you do decide to, and they like him there, and he's friends with he's tight with Quinn, which is another factor to an extent, I guess, and tight with Brock and everybody there. But this is, can you fine tune your roster in a little bit, bring in a different caliber player to benefit this club? Like, that's what they're figuring out right now, or at least trying to, with respect to Garland. And then that'll be probably a larger type of deal. You're adding multiple pieces. You're getting, he's a centerpiece on one side. You're getting another type of centerpiece on another. But for Sherwood, would be 0% surprised if it's first round pick plus for him.
Wow. See, I looked at Sherwood and I said that feels to me, based on, maybe we should just throw precedent out at this point, given the new reality, the salary cap and the NHL universe and how everyone's packed together and everyone's competitive. But it always, again, I'm just going on vibes here, Dave. Vibe check feels like 2 seconds to me.
Yeah.
But if they can get a first, I don't know, man, take it and run.
Yep.
Take it and run.
Yeah. And they haven't had contract negotiations. They've had loose talks. But actually discussing terms and, other than throwing out loose numbers, that hasn't happened. That hasn't. And I think there was a little bit at the start of the season, especially after he went on such a heater right out of the gate. I think there was a little bit of confusion as to why haven't the Canucks called? Like, why haven't we had those talks yet? So, and it hasn't happened to date. And I don't think, I haven't gotten any indication that Vancouver is going to allow other teams to talk to his agent. Obviously there's the possibility that happens. They sign an extension. You can maximize your return even more.
For sure.
But I haven't gotten that sense yet. So this might be a straight rental situation. And the price tags may be different too. Like, if you're getting him on an extension, then you have to factor in future years, clearly, because that cap hit's probably going to be around $5 million versus the 1.5 now. So you think in the now, I'll take my chances with them. Let's see if we can win a cup. Here's a first plus.
Interesting. What do you make of, because I think there's some there, the Edmonton Pittsburgh talk around Skinner and Jarry, and there is one wrinkle that I do want to throw in here, because listen, the money doesn't work. We get that for the 1-for-1 unless Pittsburgh is going to retain. You can do a couple of things. Pittsburgh can retain, or it can be like a Kulak or a Janmark going back the other way to help make the money work. Something interesting has happened. Maybe I'm reading too much into this, but I look at Wotherspoon. Okay, let me just grab this here.
He's been a good addition for them this season.
He really, really has. So something interesting happened the other night. The game against the game in, I think it was Buffalo. Parker Wotherspoon, for the second time in 12 games, passed the 20-minute barrier and was hard matched against Thompson and Tuck. Now, when I see that, I tend to think Bob Barker, The Price is Right, Showcase Showdown. When I see things like that around teams that are probably in trade mode, or are at least trade curious. Now, Tristan Jarry starts tonight for the Penguins against the Columbus Blue Jackets. We should throw in as well. The Edmonton Oilers will be facing off against the Seattle Kraken. What do you make of all the noise between these two teams right now?
Well, I know when they signed Witherspoon, it was specifically to play with Erik Karlsson. They wanted to bring in somebody that can play on Carl's other side and be the guy that's going to help just kind of stabilize things. That was by design. They wanted that. That was what they envisioned, and so far it's worked out. I don't know what Edmonton has or has a willingness to offer that would convince Kyle Dubas to pull the trigger on that combo deal. Now, maybe I'm not seeing it.
I think it's to get honestly,
to make the money.
Honestly, Dave, if I can just pause for 1 second, I think it's to get out of the Jarry deal. I think it's to get out of the Jarry deal. If anything, it's to get out of that deal.
Right. Which I get, and they have. I mean, you have Shilovs, you have
Morozhev.
Blomqvist.
They love Sergei Morozhev.
Right. So you've got a lot of riches there in net, and I get it. Yeah, moving out the contract and getting out of, what is it, 5.4, something like that. So I get there's a benefit from that perspective, but now you're adding a defenseman who, I think it's only $1 million cap hit, but now you're adding someone who's pretty valuable for you, has been so far in the first quarter of the season, and you're in the final wildcard spot. You have to analyze this from that, like, we're in a playoff spot, we're exceeding expectations, but we feel we can keep this ride going.
Yeah.
Do you want to potentially hinder that to a certain extent? Like, that's the debate from Pittsburgh side of things, I would imagine.
Interesting.
On that end. And then it's, all right, yeah, we want to get out of Jarry. But now we're going to have a hole on that back end. So what are you giving back if we're comboing this?
Kulak.
That's going to
Brett Kulak.
convince us. But now you're talking about more money. You know, now you're talking, and Kulak, and is he on an expiring deal?
Kulak's on an expiring deal, yeah. You can, like, flip him for
he
a
is,
third
right?
at deadline.
Okay.
Like, it would be the most Dubas thing to do, like, pick up Kulak in the deal and then flip him for a third at deadline. Like, that, we've all watched Dubas operate for years, and that very much feels like it would be a Dubas move.
And look, that wouldn't, because now you're completely f***ing yourself up because Skinner's a free agent, and now and Kulak's going to be a UFA as well. So now you're freeing yourself up of that five plus million. If you're forward thinking there, I think this makes more sense. Like, I don't see a scenario, and again, I could be wrong. I'm just trying to view this as it currently is. Right now, I don't know if that makes sense for Pittsburgh. If they fall and, you know, they're hovering a little bit, but they're out of it and they got some ground to make up in January, then I could see that making more sense, or going into right before the Olympic break or during the Olympic break. I can see that making more sense at that point than at this moment. But one thing out of all of this is crystal clear. Wotherspoon definitely upped his value
Oh, yes.
Across the league with his performance this season.
Oh, 100%.
Next contract, way to go.
Yeah, 100% there. Okay, a couple of things that I want to listen. You've been all over the Matheson situation. This one's yours. So no surprise here for the contract extension for the Habs defenseman.
No, not at all. They wanted to make that happen. He wanted to stay. He's a Point Claire kid. He's from the West Island.
Yep.
He speaks the language. Everything clicks for him.
Yeah.
In Montreal, and the Habs value him. You could just look at some of what his teammates have talked about. What Noah Dobson has said about him, what Lane Hudson has said about Mike Matheson, Goalie, everybody on that back end, what he brings to the table. He doesn't need to bring his offensive game in there steady because of, just Hudson and Dobson alone. But the professionalism that he brings on and off the ice and the two-way style that he plays, it really, really benefits and fits this club. And a good chunk of it, I think $20.8 million is in bonuses. He's got a full no move for the first 3 years, and then it trickles down to a 14-team no trade list, then a 5. But they wanted this to happen. They liked it. I thought at the beginning of the week they were close. I reached out to a few people and on both sides, and they're like, I don't know what you're talking about. We'll if something happens, you'll find out with the press release. And then they actually agreed to the deal last night and just fine-tuned the contract this morning, and they made their announcement. But this was something that the Habs wanted to do. This is something that Mike Matheson wanted to do. They agreed last night, finalized it this morning, and everybody's happy.
Well, listen, earlier we had a quick conversation about Kiefer Sherwood. Kiefer Sherwood from Columbus, Ohio, part of that minor hockey system / youth hockey system, as they call it, stateside, much like Sean Corrali, to great success in the NHL. But sticking with CBJ, you guys sat down with Don Waddell on Daily Faceoff Insider Edition, Daily Faceoff Rundown Insider Edition. I like talking to Don Waddell a lot. Like, I know we all love Jim Rutherford because he just splashes it all out there. Don Waddell's not shy about being honest either. I love Don. Like, he's wonderful. What did you take away from that conversation about what's next for Columbus?
They're in wait and see mode. That's kind of what I got with respect to just what's their direction, what's their path. Are they going this way or that way? They still want to see what they've got. Now, they were banged up for a bit, and Werenski came back on Wednesday, and they got a couple other guys that are a little bit banged up. They want to see how they look fully healthy. Brendan Smith, they added to the equation. So they just want to kind of give themselves a little bit of a runway here over the next, I would imagine, month to see exactly where they're at before they make decisions. Now, there was some back and forth with the likes of Boone Jenner and Adam Fantilli and a couple other free agents throughout. He confirmed that all of their contract discussions with any of their free agents have been tabled until the Olympic. So I think at that point, with a guy like Boone Jenner, for example, there's a lot of value in him as a short-term addition for like a primo rental for a cup contender. And there are a lot of teams that are eyeing him and kind of want to know exactly what that situation is. That picture won't be clear until, they have those discussions in February. And then if they're in the race, and as well, I should point out, Don mentioned they want to keep him. They think he wants to stay. Yeah. So that's going to be their goal. But if they bottom out for whatever reason, then they're going to, I would imagine, explore at least the market to see what type of return they may get. But all of that's going to be later on in February. The same with Adam Fantilli, who's going to cash in on a pretty good deal. And if he could play the Leafs every week, his numbers bolstered even much more. So maybe the schedule makers do him a favor. That would help. But all of that's for later. Yeah.
There's you're right. You're 100% right about Fantilli and the Maple Leafs. The other player, if the Montreal Canadiens only played the Toronto Maple Leafs, Josh Anderson would be the richest player in the NHL. No matter what, he'd make more than Kaprizov, make more than Nathan McKinley, make more than everybody if the Habs just played the Leafs every time, because that guy lights up the Maple Leafs like no other team, and it's every game.
All of a sudden, that power forward that everyone thought was going to be the next main guy in the league.
Yeah.
He just shows up against the Leafs every time. He scores, throws the body, does everything right. I keep it up, Josh. I don't know why it's just the Leafs, but good on you. But use that a little more often.
Listen, I kept you along today. That was great. Really thorough, really full rundown there. Thanks. Enjoy the weekend and enjoy the return to 15 games. And Just noodle around. Global Series over Thanksgiving. That's our end around to get a game on Thanksgiving here in North America. Anyway, Dave, thanks for stopping by as always. Have a great weekend.
You too, buddy. Take care.
There he is, Dave Pagnotta, Daily Faceoff insider, and Dave, of course, from the fourth period. Always look forward to his contributions each and every week here on the sheet as we like to round off our week. Looking forward to the weekend with a recap of what's going on in the NHL behind the scenes with Dave Pagnotta. Anything jump out at you there, Zach? Most notably, Global Series over Thanksgiving. That's how we get our game.
Yeah, let's stick on that one.
Yeah.
I kind of like it. I think it's going to be really, really tough for the players to be enthused about that one. And I know that you can kind of just say what you said, where it's
take
like,
the family to Europe, go on, enjoy Sweden, enjoy Finland. Come on.
Yes. My only concern is like, what are these guys' interviews going to look like when they're over there? Oh, how happy are you to be in, name your country, city, whatever. Yeah, that's good.
Again.
We already get nothing.
Again.
We need them to be enthused about being over there.
Again. Say it with me, Zach. That's what the money's for.
Yes. I know.
That's what the money's for. But I'm the guy that wants a Christmas Day game, too. So, again.
Yeah, true.
What the money's for.
Yep, I know. I do like that one, though, and I do think that solves a lot of stuff because then you can throw it in during the day, in the morning. Also, there are a lot of European players, so if maybe you pick the teams with a lot of European players, they go back and they're near their families, and it's kind of all kumbaya. We hold hands, we dance around in a circle, look at us. And then now we're growing the game. We got ISO games over there. I kind of like that one. That's one of the few good ideas here, Jeff, on this show you've come up with. So.
Oh, how dare you! I have 1,000 ideas.
I had to get back to you after the toothbrush comment yesterday.
Oh, wow, that one really hung around you. Hey, you didn't like that one so much.
Yeah.
Birthplace of the toothbrush. Yeah, sorry about that one there. What else do we want to get into today? You know what? I was going to ask David what Alex Tuck. Maybe we'll do that. Maybe table that next week about the latest, because Dave's been all over that one too. The Alex Tuck contract. Anyway, similar numbers, if not identical. I think we've talked about this before. Similar, if not identical, numbers to Adrian Kempe. For those of you looking for context, and they're both 29 years old. So I would imagine, if you're the Buffalo Sabres, that's probably what you expect to come from that camp, but we'll see. Dave's been all over that story, so we'll ask Dave about that next Friday here on the program. In the meantime, Crave the Stats is a presentation of Uber Eats. Uber Eats is enabling fans to maximize their fandom all season long with exclusive game day deals on the app. From game day eats to paper plates and napkins if you're hosting, to all the ingredients you need to make your favorite game day dip. Before, during, and after the game, Uber Eats is assisting every fan's hockey experience all season long. What you serving up today, Zach?
Yeah, this one's a more recent stat, and it's not necessarily the player that the stat's about that I want to get your opinion on. I'm hoping maybe you got something or a thought on the guy that he surpasses in this one. So, Jeff, today, back in 2019, November 28th, Connor McDavid hits 400 career points, reaches the mark in just 306 games, the fastest since Mario Lemieux. The reason I say I want to get your thoughts on the other guy more so than McDavid is I have a lot of friends' parents who have always said, and my dad included kind of up there in this conversation, he thinks it's Gretzky, but a lot of other people think Mario Lemieux is actually the greatest player of all time and deserves that place on the mantle above Gretzky. I'm not necessarily asking you to pick one or the other. We've never really broken down or had any kind of conversation here on the show about Mario Lemieux. I don't know where you stand on him, the conversation, any of it. So I just wanted to kind of give you an opportunity to maybe give some flowers to Mario Lemieux.
No problem. To me, he is the most skilled player I ever saw in my life. Full stop. Period. So here, let me know if you like this way of determining the worth of a player. And this is sort of under the umbrella of best of all time. So here's what I would say to take back It's your dad thinks that Mario's the best of all time over Wayne?
No, he thinks Gretzky.
He thinks
but
Gretzky?
He thinks Mario's close. The injuries hold him up
Okay.
back. Obviously, health
Okay.
situations. There's
So do
other
this.
people, other friends' parents who have him up.
So do this. Okay, here's what I want. Here's what I want everybody out there to do. And you can do this with all the greats throughout history. You can do it with Gretzky, you can do it with Lemieux, you can do it with Gordy, you can do it with Rocket, you can do it with Crosby, you can do it with Ovi. You see where I'm going? You can do it with Lidstrom, you can do it with you can do it with all the guys. Okay, here's the one thing, and maybe everybody's a little bit different in their brain, but I think objectively, this might be the best way to determine who the best of all time is. So we are going to consider all the things that go into making a great hockey player. Skating, shooting, passing, vision, IQ, toughness, intimidation, all those things that go into making a great hockey player. So they would be considered the greatest of all time. Here's what we're going to do, Zach. Pick 2 players. Say I do a card trick, but pick 2 players.
yeah,
Maybe for sake of argument, since your dad is
Was this your player?
It's between. Was this guy? Wow, how did he do that? Let's just go Gretzky, Lemieux. Okay.
Okay.
And consider all the things that go in to make a great player. So we're gonna have a hockey rink. Okay. And we're gonna have two goalies of equal value at either end. Okay. Essentially the same goalie. And we are going to ice 5 Wayne Gretzkys at all 5 positions and 5 Mario Lemieux, keeping in mind all the things that go into making a great player. And we are going to drop the puck. Who wins that game?
I mean, I didn't get to watch them play. I would say based on size, physicality, as well as the skill, it's Mario Lemieux.
It's the 5
That's my
Lemieux.
guess, but
it's the
yeah.
5 Lemieux. And you can do that all throughout all the great players of all time. Everybody's might have like sort of slight, no, I still think Gretzky wins that one. Oh no, I think, Lidstrom beats Orr in this situation. No, I think that, like it's going to be different for everybody. But as far as, because judging cross-generationally is tough. And I know a lot of this is just based on our own sort of biases of how we feel about a player. But that to me has always been the way that I've looked at, who's better, like, Gordy or Mario, for example, or, Jean Beliveau or Marc Messier, or pick your player, whatever, Larry Robinson and Nick Lidstrom. That's the way that I've always kind of done it in my head. Does that seem like a fair way to do it? Take 5 Marios?
Yeah, I kind of like that comparison. Yeah.
Just
I like that. You know what we're gonna have
do
to
it that
do? We're
way.
gonna have to get in touch with our friends at EA Sports. We're gonna have them model this
Okay.
out so we can do this,
Sure.
and then they
I would
can
love it.
simulate
Yes.
series of this, and we can find out.
This goes back to, like, I used to have conversations with Bill Waters about this when we did the old Leafs lunch show, about how you judge the value of a hockey player. And this one seems to be, again, everyone's going to be slightly different, but this one seems to me to be one of the better ways to decide who's a better player.
I do like that way. Yeah, I do like that way. I think that's pretty. It levels it out enough for you to be able to kind of have an idea in mind of what it would look like or feel like in that scenario, which I do think kind of can paint a pretty good picture for you.
Yeah. Like at the opening face-off, Lemieux says to Gretzky, "This puck drops, I'm going to cross-check you in the face." And Wayne looks to his left and he sees Wayne. And he looks to his right and he sees
Yeah, exactly.
Wayne. And he looks behind him and he sees Wayne.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know. I just lob it out there as a conversation starter on the weekend. You like that one?
Yep. No, I do. I wow, another good idea, Jeff. Way to
All
end
right.
off the week here.
Again, they're all excellent. Every single idea I've ever had is excellent. Oh, look, there's my navel. All right, we got a lot of games on the go here, so let's get to this one. The Sheet is powered by FanDuel. Play your game with FanDuel. It's the NHL season, and FanDuel is your home for all the action on the ice. From Blue Line to Bet Slip, we've got you covered all season with unique promos, live offerings, and more features to let you play your game. Missed puck drop, no sweat with a live same-game parlay. You can build your bets up until final buzzer. Download the FanDuel Sportsbook today and play your game. Please play responsibly, 18 plus, and physically located in Ontario. If you have questions or concerns about your gambling or the gambling of someone close to you, please contact Connects Ontario at 1-866-531-2600 to speak to an advisor free of charge. Zach.
I tried to find a way, like, really hard to get this to all tie back in together in some facet, but I couldn't, so I had to throw a guy into this one. That just...
Okay.
You'll see what I'm trying to say here.
Oh, boy.
This one is called Good Things Come in Threes, ? So there are 3 players for today to get 3 plus shots on goal.
Usually celebrity deaths all come in threes. But just good things come in threes. But I'll play along.
Well,
all right.
I was reaching, okay? Like
we had
there was something else I was trying to get.
We started the season off with like Eddie Jacquemin, Bernie Perrant, and Ken Dryden all passing away. 3 of the greatest goaltenders of all times. Happens in threes, bud.
Well, third time's a charm.
All right, okay. Good things come in threes. All right.
All
right, let's see what we got here. All right.
3 plus shots on goal. Luke Hughes, 3 plus shots on goal, plus 182. Jason Zucker, 3 plus shots on goal, plus 195. And Jack Quinn, 3 plus 230. I was trying to get away to have all of the Hughes names involved. Luke Hughes is in this one. Jack Hughes is not playing. So I was like, how do I do this? Well, I got Jack Quinn, but then I didn't like what I had for the Quinn Hughes bet number for this one. So I was like, I can't put him in. I got to find something else. So I just went with Jason Zucker. There's no real connection. And then I had to change the name of the parlay.
What you should have done is just played off the Q and gone with Quentin Byfield with LA, the other Q with Los Angeles. And he's in your backyard. Like, he played hockey at YSE, York Simcoe Express.
I got distracted by the Jack Quinn part, and then I was like, oh, well, I got to check that box. I don't know what to do now. And then this.
And you ended up with Jason Zucker. So instead of the Q, you're going with the Z, or the Z, as we like to call it up here in Pakistan. Okay. Well,
it doesn't even make sense. But $5 pays 90.
$5 pays 90 on that one.
Shoot the puck.
Everybody, when in doubt, there's never a bad shot on goal. I remember talking to one Carolina Hurricane player. This is years ago. I mean, obviously, the analytics darlings around the NHL. I'm like, what's your strategy like for your games? Like, given like this is like such an analytical. This is like years ago too, an analytically based team. Like, a lot of decisions are based on raw numbers and the general manager's interpretation of them. And he said to me, "Well, I'll tell you what we do. To keep our managers happy, we fire as many shots at the net in the first period as we can. We call it warming up our Corsi." All right, boys, let's warm up the Corsi out there. Just fire as many shots on net as we can. Warm up the Corsi, boys. Here we go. Keep them all happy upstairs.
This is not about analytics, but in my first year of midget hockey, our coach was dead convinced every shot was a good shot. So we used to do a drill in practice where you would break out of the zone, and when you got to center...
Carolina.
This is a little more exaggerated.
Oh, boy.
When you got to center in practice, you would shoot on net. And then it would trigger the breakout from the other side. So you would break out, get to center, whoever had the puck, didn't matter who, you shoot it on net. And then the goalie would play it to the corner. It wasn't a dump in. It was a shot on goal. Like, it was intentional. Yes, it was a dump in.
It's based on the goalie's reaction, kind of like the shot pass off the pad.
Yeah, kind of. It was really egregious, though. So in games, if you got over center, he would start screaming, "Shoot, shoot, shoot!" Dead seriously.
Way.
Yes. Now, maybe the worst thing that happened, one game, Jeff, I skate up past center ice. I'm going for a change, but I get past center and I just fire the puck towards the net. A little floater, hip high maybe. I turn around to go to the bench. Turn back around. My little floater beat the goaltender. And the coach turns to everybody on the bench and says, "That's why you shoot the puck."
Because once every 50 games you're going to score. So did you celly in the bench, or were you actually on the ice for when it happened?
I was on the ice. I was probably like 3 feet away from the door. It was at Markham Village in the first period.
Oh,
so if you know where that is.
I know
Jeff.
Markham
So
Village.
I was
yeah.
just past the penalty boxes. I had fired it, turned back. I was kind of turning back towards the penalty boxes. That's where I was, and then I just kind of fist bump everybody on the way back. But the bad part of it was that the coach was then more vindicated in his opinion that this was the greatest play of all time.
Look at what Philly did.
Yeah.
Do what Philly does.
Like,
those dressing rooms at Markham Village are really good, eh? They're awesome.
We had the junior room at Markham Village when
no way!
Our gear and everything. Yeah,
Oh, okay,
so it was pretty cool.
You had the one
on
the corner.
during that.
You didn't have the other
Yeah.
ones. Yeah. The other ones are.
It's really good rooms everywhere else.
Great rooms, man. Those rooms are awesome. Fantastic. All right. Any parting shots from you before we call it a week? Philly, anything stand out from you? Anything you want to mention?
Just excited for hockey on the screen today. I haven't really got to watch anything right now, getting ready for the show. So sitting down and seeing everything for the rest of the day is going to be great. Snow is happening right now, Jeff.
Oh, I know. You live in Canada. You can't stop.
Yeah, Panthers Nation starting soon. Panthers Nation.
Panthers Nation, Bolts Nation, Stars Nation. Here we go.
Yeah.
That's where Philly's going. That's what Philly's off to. All right. Well, you enjoy that in Kings Nation and Sharks Nation, Ducks Nation.
Yeah, exactly.
Enjoy that, Philly. Meanwhile, some people who have the nerve to actually enjoy cold and look forward to the snow. Thanks you for listening and watching this week and interacting in the chat. A couple of things we'd like you to do if you can. If you haven't already, please subscribe to our Daily Faceoff YouTube channel. We'd very much appreciate that, and you'll find some great programming, and it keeps on adding too. We keep on adding programs and more to announce in the upcoming days and weeks here on the on the platform. Thanks for downloading the show as well. Subscribe to our podcast feeds. On Spotify, on Apple Podcasts, or wherever you get your podcasts. Thanks for joining us this week. We're back Monday for all new editions of The Sheet. Enjoy the hockey today and through the weekend, and we'll talk to you on Monday. Jeff Marek along with you. I hope you enjoyed the program today. If you did, or maybe even if you didn't, they can't all be gems, folks. Please hit the subscribe button. Also a reminder, every morning, 9 a.m. Eastern, Johnny Lazarus, Colby Cohen, I call them the Impact Players. You might know them as a tandem that makes up the Morning Cup of Hockey. Also DFO Live at noon Eastern. This year, your host Tyler Yaremchuk alongside Carter Hutton. Full day's worth of programming right here on Daily Faceoff, your favorite YouTube hockey channel. And as a reminder as well, Zach Phillips, our producer here for The Sheet, said if you subscribe, he'll buy you a puppy. It's true.